May I have the next slide, please, Rita? Well, the requirement to have a quality system for pharmacovigilance is described in the legislation. Practical guidance how to apply a quality to pharmacovigilance system is provided in the guidance document, which Peter already a little bit introduced into GBP and in the module 1 of that guidance document. In my presentation, I will try to highlight the required elements which are described in the legislation and in the guidance. Next one, please. So the requirement for national competent authorities and the marketing authorization holders to have a quality system for the performance of the pharmacovigilance activities is just described in the directive, and I just here want to show you the legal reference here. Next one. And the same requirement for European Medicines Agency is described in the regulation. Next one. Thank you. In the following slides, I will highlight the elements of the quality system as they now read in the published draft Commission implementing regulation. So it all starts from the Article 9, describing general provisions for the marketing authorization holders, national competent authorities, and the agency. So the quality system should be adequate and effective for performing pharmacovigilance activities. It should cover organizational structure, responsibilities, procedures, processes, and resources, and include appropriate resource management, compliance management, and record management. It is based on quality planning, quality control, quality assurance, and quality improvements. And this will mean that establishing structures and consistent processes and carrying out the tasks and responsibilities and monitoring and evaluating the structures and processes and correcting and improving structures and processes as deemed necessary. The next one, please. In the regulation, it is indicated that performance indicators may be used to continuously monitor the good performance of the pharmacovigilance activities. And if these performance indicators are used, they shall be documented. And for the marketing authorization holder, this means the pharmacovigilance system master file. And the agency may publish a list of performance indicators on the basis of the recommendation of the Pharmacovigilance Risk Assessment Committee. Next one, thank you. After those general provisions, there are some requirements directive for the marketing authorization holders. So there shall be a sufficient number of competent and appropriately qualified and trained personnel for performance of the pharmacovigilance activities. The marketing authorization holder shall ensure that the qualified person responsible for pharmacovigilance has acquired adequate theoretical and practical knowledge for the performance of the pharmacovigilance activities. And QPPV shall be assisted by a medically trained person if not completed the basic medical training, which is stated in the reference directive. The next one, please. Thank you. So the duties of the managerial and supervisory staff, including the qualified person responsible for pharmacovigilance, shall be defined in the job descriptions. And organizational chart shall define hierarchical relationships of the organization, and the marketing authorization holder shall ensure that the qualified person responsible for pharmacovigilance has sufficient authority to influence the performance of the quality system and the pharmacovigilance activities for the marketing authorization holder. All persons involved in the performance of pharmacovigilance activities should receive initial and continued training in relation to their role and responsibilities. Training plans and records shall be kept for documenting, maintaining, and developing competencies of these personnel and for audit or inspection purposes. There shall be also appropriate instructions on processes for dealing with urgent situations, including business continuity. Commission implementing regulation also requires that specific quality system procedures and processes are in place in order to ensure the following activities: continuous monitoring of pharmacovigilance data and consideration of options for risk minimization and prevention, scientific evaluation of all information on the risks of medicinal products, timely submission of data on adverse reactions to the Vigilance, which includes also quality of the submitted data and validation of signals, effective communication with national competent authorities and agency, up-to-date product information with current scientific knowledge, including the requirement to continuously check the European Medicines web portal for any relevant updates, and the communication of relevant safety information to healthcare professionals and patients. And where the marketing authorization holder has delegated certain tasks of its pharmacovigilance activities, it shall retain responsibility for ensuring that an effective quality system is applied in relation to those tasks. So the responsibility remains on the marketing authorization holder. It cannot be delegated in that sense. The quality system shall be in place for all documents used for pharmacovigilance activities, and it should be able to show the traceability and retrievability of how safety concerns have been investigated, the timelines for these investigations, and how and when decisions have been taken. It shall allow accurate reporting, interpretation, and verification of the pharmacovigilance information, and enable the traceability and follow-up of adverse reaction reports while complying with the data protection legislation. The essential documents describing the pharmacovigilance system shall be kept at least 5 years after the system has ceased to exist, and pharmacovigilance data and documents related to the authorized medicinal products shall be kept at least 10 years after the marketing authorization has ceased to exist. And the documentation arrangement are documented in the pharmacovigilance system after 5. The regulation also requires that risk-based audits are performed on regular intervals, and they are conducted by individuals who have no direct involvement in or responsibility for the matters being audited. Corrective actions and follow-up audit of deficient matters shall be taken when necessary, and audit report of the results of each audit and follow-up audit shall be reviewed by the management responsible for the matters audited. In the following slides, I will highlight the content of the guidance document, which will give more details on these requirements stated in the legislation. The next one, please. The following 2 slides are listing the topics of the structures and processes of this guidance module 1 related to quality systems and pharmacovigilance system, and they actually reflect the elements described in the implementing regulation we just went through. So you see there are very similar topics which we already noted in the implementing regulation. Related to the overall quality objectives for pharmacovigilance, the module includes the following elements. There's compliance with legal requirements, prevention of harm from adverse reactions, promotion of safe and effective use of medicinal products, contribution to the protection of patients and public health. And for the principles of good vigilance practices include the higher management leadership and personal involvement and support to the pharmacovigilance system, continuous improvement, resourcing and organization of the tasks to support the conduct of pharmacovigilance, and use of all available evidence for decision-making on the risk-benefit balance of the medicinal products, and the cooperation with the different parties, including marketing authorization holders, competent authorities, healthcare professionals, patients, and health organizations. The next one, please. So the list continues, and here I would like to highlight the critical pharmacovigilance processes which are now defined in this guidance documentation. And these are related to the continuous safety monitoring, risk management systems and risk minimization, individual case safety reports, signals, periodic safety update reports, commitments and responses to competent authorities, interaction between pharmacovigilance and product defects, communication of safety concerns, product information, and safety-related variations to marketing authorizations. And the monitoring performance and effectiveness has been listed in the document to include system reviews by the management responsible for the pharmacovigilance, risk-based audits, compliance monitoring, inspections by the competent authorities, and the evaluation of the actions taken with medicinal products. The next one, please. So in the operation of the EU network, the guidance describes the specific requirements for the pharmacovigilance responsibilities in the EU. So there are responsibilities related to the marketing authorization holders, responsibilities in relation to the QPPV, and specific quality system processes and quality system requirements for delegated pharmacovigilance tasks, and qualifications and role of the qualified person for pharmacovigilance. The next one. Thank you. In this section of the guidance document, it is described the operation of the EU regulatory network and the different parties involved in the activities, including the competent authorities in the member states, European Commission, and the European Medicines Agency, and then the committees on below that, Pharmacovigilance Risk Assessment Committee, Committee for Medicinal Products for Human Use, and Coordination Group for Mutual Recognition and Decentralized Procedures. The next one, please. So, as based to the elements we just reviewed, I would like to emphasize and encourage you to think that the quality system for pharmacovigilance should not be seen as an additional burden. The quality system can give you a robust structure and even tools for establishing and maintaining a good pharmacovigilance system. And it will help you to design and operate a pharmacovigilance system which is adequate and effective for its purpose. Thank you for your attention.